far as looking for the biggest name and the biggest fight in that division, I think it's me. So, yeah, I think we fight for the title next.
Of course, it's already starting to live up here. It's that blockbuster versus current pound for pound and a former pound for pound. I mean, I think that's a blockbuster anybody would sign up to.
But I truly believe that Islam got to sit back and just wait for me to get my title, because I will be the hardest fight that Islam has. He's not going to out-wrestle me, right? He's not going to submit me. I've never been submitted in my career. And he definitely not going to stand on the feet with me.
I do think Islam has the ability to do it, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I mean, current pound for pound versus former pound for pound, I think that's a blockbuster. You know, so
yeah,
that would be a great outing to go out there and get another blockbuster before I sail off.
The matchup between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena is officially on, but the welterweight division is heating up with more contenders stepping into the spotlight. Both Canelo Usman and Joaquin Buckley have expressed interest in taking on Makhachev. Former welterweight champ Canelo Usman recently shared that he's targeting a fight with Islam, potentially for the welterweight belt. While his immediate priority is a showdown with Buckley, he's clearly thinking ahead. Usman called a bout with Makhachev a massive event, highlighting it as a clash between elite fighters. When a former pound-for-pound king, the other currently at the top, he also brought up Jack Della Maddalena as another intriguing name in the mix, giving the rising contender some well-earned praise.
At the same time, you know, that's how life works. There are big goals, long-term goals, and then there's short-term goals. And the short-term goal right now is to get past Joaquin Buckley. But after that, of course, it's already starting to live up here. It's that blockbuster versus current pound for pound and a former pound for pound. I mean, I think that's a blockbuster anybody would sign up to. And even if it's not that, the current pound for pound, it may be JDM. You know, right now he's making big waves with that spectacular performance. So these are guys that I've seen, I've observed, and of course I keep my eye on for my peripherals. But right now, Joaquin Buckley is in the near side.
Joaquin Buckley is also making waves, aiming for a title opportunity and setting his sights on Islam Makhachev. Buckley voiced doubts about Makhachev's long-term plans at welterweight, suggesting that if Islam does move up and manages to defeat Jack Della Maddalena, he's unlikely to stick around. According to Buckley, Makhachev isn't a true welterweight and might retire shortly after a potential win, rather than defend the title. He also claimed that Makhachev would go out of his way to avoid facing someone like him, insisting that Islam would dodge that kind of challenge altogether.
If Islam does get blessed with that title shot and he does beat JDM, he's not going to stay there. He's going to retire. He's going to get up out of there quick, right? Because he knows he's not a natural 170 fighter. And especially with myself, he definitely gonna run from a person like me.
Buckley sees himself as a nightmare matchup for Islam Makhachev and isn't convinced that Makhachev can truly compete at welterweight. Despite Islam's dominance at lightweight, Buckley argued that the jump to 170 pounds still leaves a lot of unanswered questions. He expressed full confidence in his own skill set, claiming Makhachev wouldn't be able to out-wrestle, submit, or outstrike him. In Buckley's eyes, fighters like Jack Della Maddalena offer a more favorable style for Islam to deal with. Unlike the challenge Buckley presents, because of that, he's skeptical about Makhachev's chances of holding onto a welterweight title, assuming he's able to claim it in the first place.
Islam's, number one pound for pound fighter in the world. So why are you the guy that he doesn't want to see at 170 pounds?
Point blank period. Islam hasn't shown what he can do at 170, right? And with that being said, even with you being pound for pound and being a lightweight fighter at 155 and putting in good work, you got to prove that you can even move up to a weight class like 170, right? And you can even handle the division. And I feel like in my heart, though, I got the best ability to beat somebody like Islam. He couldn't take me down. He wouldn't be able to submit me. And as well, he definitely ain't going to be able to strike with me. But a person like JDM, it's like an easy lick for him, right? Stylistically. So with that being said, bro, I don't see Islam staying at 170, man, and holding that belt, long if he is able to get.
On the other hand, Canelo Usman has also shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's potential move to welterweight and his upcoming clash with Jack Della Maddalena. Usman voiced full support for Islam's decision to step up in weight, Emphasizing his respect for Makhachev, both as a fighter and a person, Usman made it clear that if this is the direction Islam wants to take, he's behind it. He also stated that Makhachev should be granted an immediate title shot, especially if he chooses to relinquish his lightweight belt. As a reigning champion willing to take risks and move up, Usman believes Islam has earned the right to compete for welterweight gold without delay.
I love it. I love Islam coming up. I would say at one point I probably would have been a little annoyed with it, but I'm older and I'm wiser now. And then at the same time, I love Islam, and you know, I really care for him. So if this was the decision that he wanted to make and chose to make, then I'm all for it. And as it pertains to me as a fighter, yeah, I love it. I mean, he goes out there, Islam comes up. Yeah, he's absolutely, I believe he's next to challenge for that title as a champion going up. You absolutely should get that opportunity if you're willing to vacate his belt like he did.
Usman expressed enthusiasm about a possible showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, describing it as a high-level, exciting matchup. He cautioned fans not to overlook Della Maddalena, highlighting him as a serious threat capable of derailing anyone's momentum, something he proved in his most recent performance. While Usman acknowledged Makhachev's skills and chances of winning, he stressed that it won't be an easy task. He described the bout as a clash of elite talent, a meeting between a current and former pound-for-pound great. Usman also mentioned that a fight of this magnitude would be the kind of event he'd love to be involved in before hanging up the gloves.
I think him and Jack, I think that's a fantastic fight. I don't count Jack out, and that's the thing. I don't want to say I hate. It's just, you know, I guess it's part of the sport, but Jack is a very formidable opponent, and I said it, even before his last fight, I said, this is a guy, you sleep on him, he will ruin your day. And he went out there and he ruined Bilal's year. Not just his day. JDM is definitely no easy out for anybody. So it's not just a shoe-in. Islam's going to come in and get that belt. I do think Islam has the ability to do it, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I mean, current pound for pound versus former pound for pound, I think that's a blockbuster, you know. So that would be a great outing to go out there and get another blockbuster before I sail off.
Kamaru Usman is confident he'll soon be in line for a welterweight title shot. Believing he's currently the most prominent fighter in the division, he expects to be the next contender and is certain that he'll emerge victorious. Usman anticipates capturing the title and even foresees himself defending the belt as early as next year.
I don't mean to sound some type of way, but I think as far as looking for the biggest name and the biggest fight in that division, I think it's me. So, yeah, I think we fight for the title next. I win that title and look to get a defense early next year.
Joaquin Buckley, on the other hand, is equally confident about earning a title shot, especially if he defeats Kamaru Usman. He stated that a win over Usman should leave no room for doubt. Making his case as the rightful next contender, undeniable Buckley also voiced frustration over Islam Makhachev, a lightweight champion, potentially stepping into the welterweight title picture. He made it clear that he's not on board with someone from another division jumping the line to claim an opportunity he's worked hard for.
So once I beat Kamaru Usman, right, there is no debate. There is no back and forth. There is no argument. Like, we up next. And you already know you got this guy from 155 coming up thinking he's going to take my spot, right? Now we can.
Buckley isn't sold on the idea that the Makhachev versus Della Maddalena fight is the biggest matchup out there. In his view, Islam should hold off and wait until Buckley claims the welterweight title, because that's the real fight fans should be watching for. He confidently declared that he would be the toughest opponent Makhachev has ever faced. According to Buckley, Islam wouldn't be able to dominate him with wrestling, has no chance of submitting him, since he's never been submitted, and wouldn't stand a chance in a striking battle either.
I truly believe that, with everything that's coming, the JDM fight and Islam fight is not a massive fight to make. JDM is the world champion right now, but I truly believe that Islam got to sit back and just wait for me to get my title, because I will be the hardest fight that Islam has. He's not going to out-wrestle me, right? He's not going to submit me. I've never been submitted in my career. And he definitely not.
Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, weighed in on the potential clash with Jack Della Maddalena, calling it a genuinely tough test for his fighter. He pointed out that unlike previous matchups, such as the one with Ilia Topuria, where Islam was the clear favorite, the betting odds for this bout are much closer, reflecting how competitive it could be. Abdelaziz also shared that even Khabib Nurmagomedov recognizes Della Maddalena as a legitimate threat. He praised Jack's overall game, describing him as a well-rounded and fluid fighter. Still, he maintained that, in his view, Islam remains the superior athlete.
Could I ask you, man? Obviously, you know, a lot of people are picking Islam to beat JDM, but just
it's a tough fight, man. It's a tough
fight. Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen on the night.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Islam and Tybura, Islam was 4-1 favorite. Islam and GDM is almost even. This is what people think about it. If you think Habib said it's a very tough fight, you know, and if we think, oh, we look over GDM, people crazy. I think this guy's so talented. He's so fluid. He's good everywhere. I think Islam is better.
Ali Abdelaziz also expressed strong confidence in Islam Makhachev's future, stating that a loss simply isn't in the cards. When asked whether Islam would consider returning to lightweight if he were to lose to Jack Della Maddalena, Abdelaziz responded decisively. Islam will not lose. And he went on to say that if Makhachev successfully defends titles in both the lightweight and welterweight divisions, it would cement his status as the greatest fighter of all time, undeniably surpassing all who came before him.
Let me ask you this. In the case that Islam does happen to lose, which, you know, everybody is picking him to win, would he stay at welterweight because he's making the move up, or do you imagine he would come back down to lightweight if in the scenario that he loses?
Islam will not lose, inshallah. He will not lose. I never think that. I always think Islam been smashing people for the last 10 years, right? And he's gonna keep smashing people. Two title defense. Islam will be the greatest fighter of all the time. He will surpass everybody, you know. No.
Jack Della Maddalena has also shared his thoughts on a potential matchup with Islam Makhachev. He acknowledged that a lot of fans might assume Makhachev would dominate with his grappling and secure a quick submission. But Della Maddalena sees things very differently. He confidently predicted that he would stop Islam in that fight, and in such convincing fashion that it might even force Makhachev to drop back down to the lightweight division afterward.
In the best case scenario of this fight would be if I could show no ground game, and then that
for the Islam fight.
Yeah, and then people still, but I'm sure people are just going to assume that Islam will just take me down and submit me pretty quickly.
Do you think he'll be big enough for 170?
I think he just seems like a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right.
Yeah. You think he'll stick around at 170, or do you think it's just...
I think he'll be one fight, and then he'll probably have to go back down.
Because of how it'll go?
Yeah.
How do you see it playing out?
I think I can take him out.
Sean Brady also offered his take on the potential matchup between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. According to Brady, the fight could be much more competitive than many fans are expecting. He highlighted JDM's versatility, being comfortable in both orthodox and southpaw stances, as well as his solid takedown defense and ability to scramble back to his feet. Brady believes these attributes will allow Jack to hold his own and last longer in the fight than most anticipate.
By the way, who do you like, JDM or Islam?
I think JDM's going to make it a lot more interesting than what people will think it would be.
Wow.
He fights as good as he does southpaw, orthodox. He's hard to take down. Like I said, he scrambles very he just has this ability to create these scrambles and get right back to his feet. He started working with Craig Jones. Craig's known for doing like unorthodox stuff like that, and it definitely added to his game plan and his weapons. I seen Craig in the back, and obviously me and him grappled before. We were like hugging each other. I was like, I'm gonna see you sooner than we thought. So hopefully I see him in the corner against me soon. But yeah, I think Jack's gonna hang around for a little bit longer than people think.
Tony Ferguson also chimed in on the potential Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena bout, expressing confidence in Makhachev's ability to compete at welterweight. Ferguson noted that Islam likely has the edge in grappling and might also be quicker than Jack in terms of speed and movement. He also mentioned Ilia Topuria, speculating that if the featherweight champ eventually moves up to face Islam at lightweight, he might end up sidestepping the fight, similar to how Ferguson believes others have previously avoided difficult matchups, even referencing Khabib in that context.
Makhachev, he's not going to do so bad at 170. I think Makhachev is a better grappler, honestly. I think he's a little bit faster, I think. And then you have Ilia Topuria from 45. He's going to go up to 55 to fight Makhachev. He's going to run like a scout.
Tony Ferguson believes Islam Makhachev has what it takes to succeed at welterweight, but offered a word of caution regarding weight management. He praised Islam as a more technical and quicker grappler than even Khabib, and feels he'll adapt well to the 170-pound division, however. Ferguson emphasized the importance of staying close to a natural fighting weight, warning that drastic weight cuts can negatively impact both performance and health. Drawing from his own challenging weight cut experience in Dubai, he stressed the need for proper supervision and smart planning. Despite the risks, Ferguson remains confident that Islam has the tools to thrive at welterweight.
But you also fought at 170. So how do you think Islam will do when he fights JDM for that 170 belt?
Okay, so the best advice is to be able to walk around at that weight. The big cut going to 155 is bad. I mean, if you're able to, because even mine when I went to Dubai, like I cut from 70 something to like 64 and a half. I overdid it, wasn't paying attention. I should have took a fucking IV. I was sick of shit. If you're not having somebody monitor your weight and you're doing that and you're fluctuating, you're going to develop like a harder time to keep that weight and like put more weight on after it. But Makhachev's, I'm going to tell you, somebody was telling me, who do you think's a better wrestler? Was it Makhachev or was it Khabib? And I think Makhachev is a better grappler, honestly. I think he's a little bit faster. I think with Khabib, I think he's just a little bit more, not timid of the freestyle that Makhachev presents, but I think Makhachev, he's not going to do so bad at 170.
Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley had high praise for Islam Makhachev's all-around skill set while discussing a possible bout with Jack Della Maddalena. He noted that Islam is extremely well-rounded and was particularly impressed by his performance against Belal. O'Malley highlighted Makhachev's striking, saying his boxing is often underrated and his timing is top-tier, while he acknowledged that JDM is a dangerous and capable opponent who could make things competitive. O'Malley still sees Islam as the favorite in that matchup. He added that Islam versus JDM would be a major fight, but not quite as big or compelling as a potential showdown between Islam and Ilia Topuria.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM take it on Islam Makhachev. I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Belal was very impressive. Made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA. Big belt. Who give him that? Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilia versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
UFC legend Daniel Cormier believes that if Islam Makhachev captures the welterweight title, it would elevate his legacy to historic heights. While Cormier already views Islam as one of the sport's top talents, he stated that becoming a two-division champion would firmly establish him among MMA's all-time greats. Cormier also addressed the idea of a potential matchup between Makhachev and Belal Muhammad, noting that it's highly unlikely. Both fighters have publicly expressed that they wouldn't face each other in the octagon due to their strong friendship.
Islam, if he is able to do this, would further cement himself as one of the greatest fighters of all time. He really would. He would cement himself as one of the greatest of all time. I think he's already one of the greatest of all time. But by going up to 170, one of the things that he would not do was fight Belal Muhammad. And they were very clear about him and Belal Muhammad about not wanting to fight each other.
Daniel Cormier called a potential matchup between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena both high stakes and highly entertaining. He pointed out that JDM's recent performances bring added excitement to the fight, especially considering that Islam has yet to compete at welterweight. Cormier raised valid questions about whether Makhachev could handle Jack's size and physicality. He noted that Islam has appeared leaner recently and expressed concern about whether he'd have enough time to effectively bulk up and fully adapt to the demands of the 170-pound division.
It's a fantastic fight. It's a big-time fight. And if Jack Della looks the way he did last weekend, it's very, very intriguing fight. Because we've never seen Islam Makhachev fight up at 170 pounds. We've never seen it. We've never seen him have to compete up 15 more pounds. Yes, he is a big dude. But in terms of full-on stature, is he big as Jack Della Maddalena is? And also, if he thought he may fight International Fight Week, how small had he gotten? And how much time does he have to put the weight back on the right?
Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendes, voiced strong confidence in his fighter's ability to not only defeat Jack Della Maddalena, but to make a major impact in the welterweight division. According to Mendes, Islam is motivated and ready for the challenge. With the skills to both take Jack down and beat him in the stand-up game, he added that Islam would stay more disciplined and effective than Belal Muhammad was, emphasizing that following the right game plan would be key. Mendes also dismissed any worries about size, stating that Islam will not be undersized at 170 pounds and will be a serious threat in the division.
I just know Islam wants this one, and he can do it all. Can he take Jack down? Absolutely, he can take him down. Can he outstrike Jack? Absolutely, he can outstrike him. Maybe the better deal to do what Belal should have done and what he didn't do. And that's something I know that Islam will do because he's never not listened to us. And also, the weight, Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight. Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight.
Javier Mendes acknowledged that Jack Della Maddalena poses a real threat, not just because he's naturally bigger than Islam Makhachev, but also due to his striking abilities. While Mendes considers Ilia Topuria the best pure boxer, he praised Jack's striking diversity, highlighting his powerful kicks to the head, body, and legs, which make him a dangerous and well-rounded opponent. Mendes admitted that this wouldn't be an easy fight. He said Islam's dominance would depend heavily on flawless preparation, or possibly on Jack having an off night. He stressed that this is an elite-level matchup and warned that Islam cannot afford to take Jack lightly.
We know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a much bigger guy and just as dangerous, if not more dangerous in different variations. Not boxing, because I think Topura's got the best boxing in the business. I still believe that. But Jack is well-versed in the kicking and the arsenal, how he mixes it up. He's really good at head and body, leg, everything. He's really, really good at that. So we have our hands cut out for us. It's not an easy fight at all. If Islam, by some miracle of a chance, makes that fight to be like slam dunk, it's because we were properly prepared, or Jack wasn't as prepared, or Jack was injured, or Jack just got caught. But it's gonna be one of those fights. It's not easy. No way in hell is that fight gonna be easy. Very tough fight.
Former MMA fighter Dan Hardy shared his excitement about Islam Makhachev potentially stepping up to welterweight to take on Jack Della Maddalena. He called it one of the most compelling super fights currently on the table, second only, in his view, to a showdown between John Jones and Tom. Aspinall Hardy pointed out that Makhachev appears unwilling to relinquish his lightweight title even as he eyes a move up in weight. However, he questioned whether the UFC would permit that, noting that the promotion seems to be moving away from the idea of supporting active double champions. Interview 21. The stage is set for a blockbuster clash as Islam Makhachev prepares to take on Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight crown. With the title on the line, the stakes couldn't be higher, but the drama is far from over. Kamaru Usman is plotting a championship comeback, while Joaquin Buckley is making his case loud and clear.so. Who do you think should get the next shot at welterweight gold? Drop your picks in the comments below.
I thought he was very, very impressive. You know, it would be awesome to see Makhachev move up and fight him. You know, I did see that Makhachev said he's not gonna relinquish his lightweight belt. So I don't know how that's gonna fly with the UFC, because I think they're putting a stop on double champs now, aren't they? But it would be a fight I would love to see. You know, that's probably one of the best super fights you could make right now, aside from, you know, obviously John Jones against Tom Aspinall, which is the block.